Live from the Export Beer Garden studio, this is the Agenda podcast for Wednesday, the 28th of February.
The Agenda, an alternative commentary collective podcast.
A real anomaly coming up tomorrow. It's the leap day. Are there any, what sort of things happen on a leap day?
Wow.
I suppose women are allowed to propose?
Yeah, something like that. No, I think they're allowed to propose in a leap year, aren't they?
Oh, right.
They've got the 12 months, so watch out, Manaia. Watch out.
Well, I've been waiting.
Yeah, you got a target on your back. No, I think it's in a leap year. That's when, but it's pretty old school. I've heard of proposals outside of a leap year. But there's that anomaly also that people born on that day that we skip are like turning 7 years old. And really they're 40 or something like that.
Which is actually just a mathematical anomaly piece. Yeah, I don't know. If you're going around telling people you're 4 years old because you were born on February 29th, I don't know. Get a grip. I'd like to share with you a harrowing story, perhaps a cautionary tale that if it can help one other person out there, then it would have been worth it. Last night, I was getting out of the shower and I was just drying myself down and I felt a stabbing pain in my foot. This must have been about 10 o'clock at night. And I lifted my foot up and a bee had been on the floor. I don't know how it got into the bathroom, but it was on the floor, and I got stung by a bee at 10 o'clock at night, stark naked. I'm currently staying at my mum's house, so she's banging on the door. What's going on in there? I was like, I've been stung by a bee. She goes, should I come in there? I was like, no, absolutely not. So I had to fumble around in the bloody drawer to find the Lucas pawpaw to flick it off, because, you can't just grab the end of it, because then you squeeze all the bloody bee venom into you. So I flicked that out. I've still got the stinger I got the sack off the end of it, but I've still got the stinger in my foot. So just a cautionary tale to anyone out there. Just check the floor before you're get out of the shower.
Can I ask, are you normally a late night showerer, or was this a suspiciously long shower at mum's house away from the missus, just before bedtime? Don't want to mess mum's spare bedroom sheets up. Just going to have a bit of a shower, wash it fast.
No, that's fairly standard for me. I'm a shower before bed guy.
Okay.
Well, you shower before bed?
No, I'm a shower in the morning guy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to shower before bed because I suppose you get into... I mean, if I exercise, sure, I shower before bed, but otherwise I don't. But, okay.
Yeah, I've always been a shower before bed guy.
Have she pawned some Drano down that plug while she was in there?
Might have to. But yeah, on the list of things that I thought I was going to see on my foot when I lifted it up, a honeybee was not on there. But
so I'll tell you what. Was it fully attached still, the whole bee?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Normally they just dump the stinger and go.
Well, I know, but I trod on him, so he probably didn't have a choice. So when I lifted my foot up, he was still attached, and I just flicked him with my finger, and obviously he deployed the sack and the stinger on there, and I've learned the hard way. You don't just grab that thing. If you don't have fingernails, you can't just go grabbing it, because all you're going to do is squeeze that sack. And that hurts like a bastard. So, yeah, got the old Lucas pawpaw out of the top drawer and used the thin end of that to flick the thing off. But the sting is still embedded in my foot. Any remedies for how to get a stinger out of your foot? Don't
you hack into it just with a needle or something?
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's the next plan. Into some actual sport, Lane. It was a sad day in New Zealand cricketing history yesterday. Neil Wagner has retired after a long and illustrious career. This has been sad news. I don't think that many cricketers have been asked so much of throughout their career. Just the way that he bowled, the times that we asked him to bowl, it was often when we were like, God, we're out of ideas here. Bolt and Southey didn't work. The spinners haven't worked. Should we just go 30 overs of Neil Wagner at your chin? It's pretty sad to see him go, isn't it?
Absolutely. And it's kind of sad. I read Dylan Cleaver's article yesterday on The Bounce, which I kind of agree with. He kind of wishes that Neil Wagner retired after that English test down at the Basin where he won it with the last ball. And his last vision of him running, screaming down the pitch with both hands in the air, just howling at the moon, winning that test for us. And you can't blame him for wanting to carry on, but it's just a shame. He had that shocking injury. He did his back and his knee at the same time. And it hasn't quite been the same in terms of the same pace and the same venom in his short deliveries and his short-paced deliveries. So it was a bit of a shame to see him go out this way, i.e. not screaming and howling at the moon after, hitting someone in the armpit and then onto the glove and through to the keeper. But you got to love everything about Wagner. I'm going to miss playing Flight of the Valkyries to him, every top of his by Wagner to Wagner, because he just gave it everything. It was great to watch, even when a game was like you were saying, even when a game was just kind of farting along, the pitch was flat. But Wagner was bowling. You knew there was going to be some action, whether it was going to be hit for six or whether he was going to bowl a bouncer, come running through and yell obscenities. He's the only pace bowler who's got under the Australian skins in the last 2 or 3 years, where they actually genuinely disliked him. And I really like that. You know, when he was peppering, was it Matthew Wade in the armpits when he was opening the batting? Like, I enjoyed that. It's a mongrel part of it. And if you read Dylan's article, it runs through his entry into first-class cricket and how he upset quite a few New Zealanders with his attitude. And he was quite hated for a long time on the domestic scene about this angry Safa from Dunedin who was only 5'10", but kept bouncing around your head and abusing you. And then he made the New Zealand team and then became best buddies with Tim Southee and Trent Boult after they butted heads in the domestic competition. But he's such a good dude as well. Interactions I've had with him, he's just a dangerously nice guy. Dangerously good looking too. He's the James Bond of New Zealand cricket. He will be missed. I'm pretty sure there'll still be a future with him within cricket, I imagine. Maybe we'll involve him in the Dulux Tradies 11. He lives at the Mount.
Oh.
We need a bowler.
We do.
He'd probably be our best batsman by a country mile too.
By far, 100%.
Well, there we go. There we go. We're recruiting Neil Wagner. I know you listen to the agenda. I'm coming at you. March 15th, Bay Oval. You're back, baby. You're back.
We need you. Why? The timing of this seems bizarre to me. Like, he was in camp. They're just about to start the second test. Reading between the lines to me, it seems like Gary Stead told him, we're not going to play you in these tests. No, so he said, bugger it, I'm out.
That's exactly what happened. I think he may have even almost admitted that to say that he was going to not play this second test and be released for the second. Sorry, not play the first and be released for the second. And he was like, well, this was it for me. So I'm calling time. I'm calling stumps now. And interestingly, talking about, the pace tack we had in the World Test Championship, we had Jameson, Boult, Southee, Wagner. We only got Southee's last man stands. From that kind of pace quartet. And also, sad news, Devon Conway's out for the first test as well.
I saw that just now.
So she's going to be a real challenge down there in Wellington tomorrow from 11 a.m. So, but hey, there is a ray of sunshine, Manaia Stewart. I have been informed that the New Zealand over 40s cricket team have defeated Australia in the semi-final of the over 40s World Cup in South Africa. They beat them by 2 wickets. James Marshall got 103 not out as they chased down 177 to make their way into the final. So
have a taste of Kiwi.
Go Kiwi. Go Kiwi. They'll be playing South Africa on Friday in the final of the over 40s Cricket World Cup. And you know what? No, I'm taking it. I'm taking this victory over Australia.
100%. I didn't even know that existed. What kind of players are we talking? Is Glenn McGrath rolling the arm over?
No, these are over 50s and over 60s.
Right.
Yeah. I think it's people who are probably still active club cricketers. And there's quite a few out there. I know that both James and Hamish Marshall still play club cricket. And they've got a goal of basically playing cricket with their sons, club cricket. So they'll go till they're 60, those guys. So Jimmy Marshall's over there doing pretty well. And the rest kind of made up of kind of former first-class cricketers. So it's not a bad standard. But
I can imagine.
Yeah, but there, go Kiwi. Beat Australia in the semi and facing South Africa in the final on Friday.
That's sort of where we're at the moment. We need to take any victory that we can over Australia because they've been very few and far between. But huge opportunity tomorrow. Huge opportunity. I'm staying very positive. A rollicking green seamer down there at the Basin Reserve is in order.
The toss is going to be terrifying. The toss is going to be terrifying because if Australia win the toss and put us into bat, then I'm going to hit in the Export Ultras early.
May not go the full 5, may not even go the 4 if they clean us up in that first innings.
But it will go 3 days because we can't forget we've got our Ultra pre-game going on at Shed 22. So all of you Wellington listeners or anyone that's headed down to Wellington, the day 3, which is the Saturday, 2nd of March from 9 a.m, Shed 22. It's the only place that's going to be open and selling beers at 9 a.m. in Wellington to do a pre-game. So join us here. We've got export merch. We've got heaps of Steady the Ship hats to give away, thanks to Dulux. And I'll be driving the Life Direct Shark Bus to and from the Basin Reserve. So I'll be taking people to and from the Basin Reserve from Shed 22. So come down and have a few pre-beers with us with Export Ultra.
That is going to look ridiculous rolling into the to the Basin Reserve, the world's biggest roundabout. Surely you do a couple of laps of the basin before you drop them off.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. There's quite a high beak on the top of the old Shark Bus. For those who don't know, it's the old Kelly Tartans with a big open mouth shark mouth over the windscreen, and it sits a couple of meters above the windscreen. There's a lot of low pahutakawa around the Basin Reserve, which could. I mean, that'd be quite funny, is to like completely T-bone it into a pahutakawa and just leave it stranded on the roundabout.
Yeah, that would be brilliant. When did you say that? 9 a.m. on the Saturday?
9
Shed
a.m.
22.
this Saturday, yep. So that's the 2nd of March. So that's day 3. So get along there, get up early, come and join us for a few pre-drinks and head up to the basin for could be a crucial day 3.
Yeah, it could either be some very high fizz levels down there at Shed 22, or it could be the BCSSG first meeting of March.
Yes, it could
on
be.
the Saturday.
Could be.
All right, time for a quick break, and we'll be back with more of the agenda. Lane, the NRL actually starts this weekend. They're over there in Las Vegas, which has been, it's been a tense negotiation for some of the players with not only some of their managers, perhaps the league. Some players have been denied visas for various infringements in their lives. One player, Kiwis fullback Joey Manu, he had a child just yesterday, and he said that he didn't want to leave. He came very close to ditching Las Vegas, and the story was all about how he had such a hard decision to make. He wanted to stay behind. He really wanted to stay behind and hang out with his wife and his newborn kid. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, he did have to pack his bags and jump on a plane with 30 of his best mates and fuck off to Las Vegas for a week.
Of course he did. I would love to have stayed back. Look, I know... Yeah, you've been through a kind of one of the most traumatic and beautiful experiences of your life, babes. But I've got to go to Vegas. Got to go.
I want to be there for you, and I want to share these moments, because you don't get them back, and they grow up so fast.
Yeah.
But I have to go. What makes this even funnier is that he was given permission by the club to stay behind for the arrival of his first child.
Surely he would have been pissed off if they released that publicly. What are you doing? What are you doing?
You could have just come out and said, no.
That for?
We told him, if the baby's born before we leave, you're coming with us. It's such a, when you've got nothing to sort of lose, he's got a free hall pass here to be like, I didn't want to, but I kind of have to. So, of course, you're going to say that. But, I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if we see videos of him bloody slapping aren't there pokies in the arrival lounge in Las Vegas?
Yeah, they're everywhere. They're everywhere as soon as you get off the plane. But I know on the Mad Monday podcast, which is going to come out tomorrow, Di Henwood has gone deep, and he was talking to me about it. He's gone deep on the security protocols that have been put in place by the NRL for these teams, because they want to make such a good impression on America. They can't afford for something to go horrendously wrong. So he's got some great stats. So tune into the Mad Monday podcast coming out tomorrow. But one of them was around, they've actually allocated 2 people per player in terms of security round-the-clock monitoring. And several teams are staying kind of almost 100 kilometres from Vegas.
Yes.
Just to avoid any sort of chance of a slip-up or indiscretion. So that's going to be to tune into that, because he's gone deep. He's gone deep on NRL Reddit around some of the protocols. So they're going to have 2 guards per person, like they're the last African white rhino on the savannah, and they're trying to keep the poachers away. You'll have to tune in. He's got all the details, but I think it's a rolling around the clock kind of situation around that.
So 12-hour shifts like it's mining.
Correct. A hotbed as well. There's only one bed for the security. They just get into each other's. As one gets out, the other gets in.
It's a cost-cutting measure.
Yep.
Manly Sea Eagles, they were ordered off Tinder for the week.
I love this. I love this.
I don't think that's how they're going to be getting into trouble is on Tinder. Although I guess if you're in charge of them, you're like, all right, any variables that we can control ourselves, let's do it.
Yeah.
So we'll bin Tinder. Imagine if it came out Joey Manu had to delete Tinder off his phone before he flew over there.
It's going to be great. I imagine the integrity unit and I imagine whitewash investigations are on high alert right now.
Oh, great opportunity for whitewash investigations.
Yeah.
If you don't know who they are, they launched the investigation into the mysterious powder on the Ranfurly Shield last year and found absolutely nothing. They also launched the investigation into allegations of racism by Bongi and Bonambi from the South African team ahead of the World Cup final, also found nothing. So these are going to be the guys that I reckon are going to be over there sweeping a lot of things under the rug. Big opportunity to make some money for them, and I am so excited for some of the yarns to come out of the other end of this.
Oh my God! So am I.
We're trying to track down someone that was over there to talk to on the podcast next week. So I'm going to try and have those negotiations in the next 48 hours because I think once they disappear into that black hole, there's no getting hold of anyone over there. Just quickly, tonight, Lane, the Breakers are playing. This could potentially be the last game of their season. It's a win or go home game against the Sydney Kings, who are sort of like one of the glamour clubs of the NBL, which, to be fair, the Breakers have been as well.
Yeah.
So they have a play-in tournament, which is something they got from the NBA, which is before the playoffs start. The lower ranked teams have one last roll of the dice to get into the playoffs. Now, the Kings are sitting just directly above the Breakers, but absolutely humped us last time they played us. It was 105-76. Obviously, we've got injury issues. Our man Lamb, we were talking about a while ago, did his Achilles. Will McDowell-White's got a shoulder issue. Finn Delaney's under a bit of an injury cloud, but it's a do-or-die game tonight, so everyone's going to be playing. This is played over in Sydney, which means the time difference is awful. It's a 9:30 p.m. Wednesday game, so it's going to be... It reeks of me falling asleep in the first half trying to watch this,
Yep.
to be honest. But for the season that the Breakers have had, it'd be incredible if they got in there. Remember last year when they made the playoffs and everyone... It was almost like Breakers fever. Up the wires.
Yeah, I went to a few of those playoff games at Spakarina, and it was mental. It was one of some of the best sports atmospheres I've ever been to, especially the one that they won to take it to Game 5 in Sydney. And there was one moment where I don't know who it was that dunked the ball, and the place went ape shit. I reckon for maybe 5 minutes of just an inside Spark Arena when that's sold out for a basketball game. It is awesome. So I really hope that they can make the playoffs because I think, especially if they can play a few games at home, I'm not sure if they can. They're so far down the table, but
yeah. Well, the way it works is if they make the playoffs, they won't have home court advantage, but they will have at least one home court game in each series. So, yeah, this is do or die stuff for them. And their coach Modi Mayor's been in the press, being like, one of the interviewers said everyone's writing you off, and he's like, good, they should. Bit of reverse psychology from old Modi.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's quite good, that dude. I'm all in on Modi. So yeah, that kicks off or tips off at 9:30 p.m. tonight. So good luck staying awake through that one on a Wednesday. Now, Lane, this is one of my favourite segments. It's one of the greatest innovations in radio since, geez, I couldn't even tell you when.
Beat the Bomb? Since Beat the Bomb?
Since Beat the Bomb, yep. Yeah, probably since Beat the Bomb. Since Wind Up Your Wife, even. This is a little segment I like to call Spit or Swallow.
Oh God! It still makes my skin crawl. I haven't got used to that. Anyway, hit me.
Mitch Kenny, he plays for the Penrith Panthers and will be suspended for the first game of their premiership defence after the NRL finalised its investigation into his Boxing Day social media post. Kenny was handed a breach notice by the NRL earlier this month after posting to his Instagram story on December 27th, and the post said, "Couple of Boxing Day lines have got me in trouble." The dual premiership winning hooker promptly deleted the post and uploaded a second image that read, "Happy New Year, guys. Enjoy and ignore the trolls who grabbed my phone." Spit or swallow? Mitch Kenny's mate wrote that post.
You know what? I'm going to have to spit it. I'd like to believe him. But that's not a very good friend who grabs, an NRL player's phone. This is why I don't believe it's true, and does something like that, because it stinks of something an NRL player would do, i.e., the cocaine bag in the mouth, the baggie in the mouth, and everything like that. But I don't know. I don't know if a friend would do that. And calling your friend a troll, I don't know. I'm suspicious of Mitch Kenny. He's throwing his friends under the bus, but I don't think there'd be many friends out there who would risk a mate's career. If you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's high stakes. Well, this is the thing. It's like there's a lot of professional athletes who keep a good group of mates around them.
Yeah.
And they have fall guys. There's so many stories of an athlete doing something, but then you actually find out, oh, no, it was just his mate that did it, not him. And his mate, in extreme instances, goes to jail or just takes the fall for it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a bit... Yeah, I'm on. That's why I can't quite swallow that one. I'm going to have to spit that one out because I think Mitch he's trying to use his mates must be like, fuck you, man.
The hell? I wasn't even with you.
First of all, that was my gear. That's my gear you sorted. And now you're throwing me under the bus for stealing your phone?
I sent you my bank account details. You didn't bloody send me a cent.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What outrageous thing to say. Couple of Boxing Day lines. Like, Jesus.
That's the other part of this is that seems like something that an NRL player would write after a couple of Boxing Day lines.
Totally.
So I think we've seen through the matrix there. I'm spitting that one as well. Time for one more quick break, and then we'll be back with another rousing round of Yours Please.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
Alrighty, when you listen on the iHeartRadio app, we've got a little function where you can press a button, the microphone button there, leave us a little bit of your feedback, and we will get to it just like this caller has. Caller, yours please.
Yours, please. Surely the new gang patch laws applies to all the NRL clubs. Underlying criminal intent and criminal past. So I guess no more Warriors or the Sharks logos around town.
Ooh, geez, hot take.
That's what I was thinking too. I was with him right up until he threw the Warriors under the bus.
Yeah.
Because you could have picked just about any NRL logo there, and just because he's right. Like, how did they define it? Is it it's a logo that depicts underworld connotations? Well, then you probably could go just about any NRL team, couldn't you?
Yeah, you could do. I mean, you got Manu Vatuvei, obviously, for the Warriors, who had certain criminal underworld links. But yeah, it's an interesting point. But he didn't need to throw the Warriors under the...
No, he didn't.
You can wear your Warriors merch wherever you want. I've seen some mean Warriors merch. I'll tell you what. Dynasty, or how do you say Dynasty or Dynasty, who are doing...
I'm going Dynasty.
Dynasty. They've nailed it. They've hit it out of the park with the merch this year for the Warriors, and rightly so. Fans are on a heater. Warriors are on a heater, and people are absolutely nuts for it. And the kind of heritage jersey they brought out, some of the stuff I've seen is pretty awesome. I've seen someone had a leather bomber jacket. I don't know if they made that themselves or whether, and that had a full embroidered Warriors logo like on the front. So I was also looking in the studio here. We've got so many different Warriors jerseys. We've got a Puma one here. We've got a Canterbury Sports one. Don't have a Dynasty one. Just saying.
No, I know.
Just saying.
I've seen a couple around the studio, but a couple around the office rather. But I didn't manage to see any either. We are a kit-based fandom as well, the Warriors. More so, I think, than any other sport anywhere. I think for a while there was a stat going around that the Warriors sold more merch than any other Southern Hemisphere sports franchise. I mean, surely there's an Argentinian soccer team that would outstrip them, but the amount of kit that Warriors fans have is out of control. Yeah,
I'm sure like the Boca Juniors or Estudiantes or something like that over in South America. But the stat that I believe also they've been told several times is that in New Zealand they obviously sell more merch than the All Blacks.
I believe that.
Comfortably more, in New Zealand anyway. Only because they got so many different varieties as well. Like you've only one All Black jersey, you buy one and you wear it for 5 years. But Warriors is like the Mad Dogs. They want one every season, if not two a season. Yeah, no, 100%. And they look cooler than a black jersey. A black jersey is just a black jersey, like you say. There's no,
Yeah, it just looks the same every year. We've got one more. Caller, yours, please.
Yeah, just listen to your podcast on the patches. I don't know what myself or the kids were looking at on AliExpress, but a mongrel mob jacket come up on there. Go onto AliExpress and search that. They might be able to do something for you.
Well, okay. I knew this was going to get us in trouble at some stage, this whole gang patch, this Commenteros mighty missionary mob. Now that people have cottoned on and are actually looking for us now. But good to know that that's where they get it from. Times are tough. It's a cost of living crisis. So obviously, the mob are looking for ways of cheapening out their patches and they're getting them off AliExpress.
Yeah, maybe we have a look at Temu. They seem to have bloody everything on there.
Yeah.
I did that when I first listened to that this morning. It was just the cadence of the way he was talking made my palms sweat when he was like, "G'day guys, heard you talking about the gang patches." I was like, "Oh God, where's this going to go?" He's like, "I don't know what I've been looking up online."
It's one death threat away from us to taking it. It's the only death threat we'll take seriously.
Yeah. But then it turned around. So yeah, I don't know. AliExpress Temu could be a go. All right, it is time. It is a Wednesday. This is something we do every Wednesday. I have another half-baked sports idea to present to you.
Half-baked sports idea.
I've been doing a lot of research on my NRL Supercoach team.
Mm-hmm.
I have a theory that any man that has more than one fantasy team is not cheating on his partner. If ladies, if you have any inkling that your partner may be unfaithful and you know that he's got more than one fantasy team, trust me, he is not, because no man can run two fantasy teams and a side piece at the same time.
Are you talking about like two different leagues? So if you're running fantasy, NFL, and NRL?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So my half-baked sports idea is to bring it, because I don't know why it's only in sports that we have fantasy leagues. So my idea is the Fantasy Alternative Commentary Collective, or FAC. Draft your team of commentators and receive stats for things like words per minute, or WPM, jokes landed, predictions, huge calls, and you lose points for things like mispronunciations, for things like Jason Hoyt calling Devin Conway Devin Malcolm, a commentator's curse I feel like is going to be worth a lot of negative points, and then also getting a call wrong, like saying the ball was out when it wasn't out, or it was a penalty when it was actually a knock-on, or things like that. Do you think that there's some leagues in Fantasy Alternative Commentary Collective?
I love it. But I reckon it's going to be quite labour intensive for the stats guru, for the person that's pulling all the stats together. It's going to be quite tough. I mean, early season Super Rugby and Warriors, there's a lot of mispronunciations and calling players by the wrong name. And also, I mean, admittedly, I'm going to put my hand up. The Highlanders versus Moana Pacifica, I may have called the Highlanders the Islanders a couple of times.
Which, by the way, what is the name of the Highlanders fullback?
We call him JKR Rolling.
I call him the napkin.
The napkin. Napkins. Yeah, we got it right in the end. We just had to break it out. It's quite a mouthful. That's why we call him JKR Rolling.
Well, particularly when you look down in a flap at your commentary sheet.
Yeah, totally.
But and you're right, that would be hard to deal with. But that's part of fantasy. So let's say, okay, Lane has got the Highlanders playing against the Fijian Drua this week.
Oh God!
This is going to be a bad week for Lane. So you'd probably drop him for that week, or potentially try and trade him to someone who's got the Crusaders playing the Blues.
I like it. No one's going to pick Hoyt though, because I mean, look, mind you, he lands a lot of jokes.
Lands a lot of jokes.
And words per minute. Yes, but and huge calls. He's always been there for the big moments for the ACC. The World Test Championship, a few other big victories that he's called the Harry Jav moment. So he's been always. So yeah, I mean, look, but then prone to commentating a replay, for example. So you'd lose points for that. I like it because there's so much jeopardy involved, and you'd have to value Wells quite high because the man never makes a mistake.
No.
Mind you, he doesn't do rugby or league where you can get tripped up a lot more. Particularly on pronunciations.
So he's going to be he'll give you like your base stats, you know, he might
Yeah.
score like 30 every week. Whereas Hoyt has a way higher ceiling than that.
Yeah.
But he's a much more volatile commentator because you just don't know if he's going to dock you a few points for getting players' names wrong or missing things. Or like you say, commentating a replay. Having said that, you and Matt Heath commentated an entire replay of the America's Cup.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
So, and I mean,
the crucial race as well. It was the race to win the America's Cup, and they played the day before. Anyway, that's a long story. But hey,
no, but that would have hemorrhaged some points.
oh, massively. I think anyone who had us in their team that weekend would have been out for the season. They would have been
Yeah.
completely gone because they would have lost so much points. But I like it. It's a good idea. I don't know how we're gonna. Who's the judge if a joke lands? Who's the judge of predictions and huge calls? I mean, we're just going to have to. Maybe it's an honesty thing.
It's going to be very based off vibe,
Okay.
I guess.
I like
think
it.
This is why rugby unions never had fantasy, because it's just too hard to be like rucks hit or mauls joined, you know, things like that.
Well, they do contact
Right, yeah.
meters and stuff now. So, and they've got the little
Yeah.
they've got the GPS unit on their back, and now they've got the punch in the face mouth guard.
Oh, that's a good point,
You better
yeah.
tell how many like big hits they've taken or given. I don't know.
Head knocks.
Yeah.
Add that into your,
Yeah.
your rugby fantasy.
Yeah.
Is it a massive head knock and it
I
won
like
the
it.
league?
Fact's a good
Yeah.
idea. Fact. Fantasy
If one of
Alternative
you-
Commentary Collective.
If there's someone out there who is into keeping stats, I don't know, if there's some boffin out there who could make this happen for us, FAC would be great. Perfect for a test match like the two coming up.
Yes.
Because it's a long 4-day. Maybe you just draft one or two commentators ahead of the week. And
And it'd be great because you wouldn't know, Lee Hart comes in on a if he's rostered on a Sunday, people
Yeah.
would be like, drop him now, trade him. He's going to come on Sunday. Or
Yeah.
not. He'll come in Sunday super hot and have an absolute blinder.
yeah, or you've got Hoyt and he's hemorrhaged a lot of points, but if it goes to day 5 and there's a decision on the cards, he's got an opportunity to make a lot of points back. So
Yes.
you like desperately need this thing to go to day 5.
I love it.
Facts got legs.
I'm in it already. Me and you might be the only people in the league, but I love it.
Yeah, all right, we'll work on FAC. And just quickly, this story I really wanted to run by you. An Aussie tradie stripper has been jailed over a large cocaine importation. Sometimes these things just fall in your lap. Matthew Hodder, who also performed as a stripper under the name Maddie Thunder,
Yeah.
had a roofing business in Australia.
Of course
but
he was
financial
roofing. Of course he was
Yeah, of course.
roofing, a stripper. Yeah, you go.
Apparently, financial pressures due to COVID saw him accept $50,000 to retrieve a package. That's the story he's going with. The package contained 91 kilograms of cocaine concealed in 2 duffel bags that were fixed to the hull of a shipping container, a container ship.
Yep.
They call this parasite importing. So the idea is that the guys on the ship don't even know that it's there. You just slap it on the side of it like
Yeah.
a limpet, and then when it gets to the next place, you fish it out. So what he didn't realise was the first stop was supposed to be in Melbourne. That's where he was supposed to grab it. But law enforcement had already intercepted it and before it even got to Melbourne.
Right.
He tried to go out in a boat to try and fetch it, but he was put off because there was law enforcement circling the waters because they knew someone was going to come looking for this bloody cocaine. So that's when he ducked off. He went to Queenstown. He bought diving gear. He thought he was Flash. So he went, in the movies where they go, don't buy everything in one spot, go
Yep.
all over town and make little... I think that works when you're paying with cash. If you're paying with a credit card and you can see that this guy's just gone all over town buying thousands of dollars of diving gear, it comes undone. He goes out to Port Chalmers, did multiple dives to try and find the bags, but obviously they weren't there because law enforcement had already taken them. They had bugged his vehicle on the way out there. And him and his mate were talking about the cost of petrol. Geez, petrol's expensive. He goes to his mate, oh, don't worry, mate. After today, you can buy your own petrol station, charge whatever you want. They get down there, multiple dives. They can't find the fucking bags. They're like, bugger this. Let's go over feed. They go into town to get breakfast. Bam, they get arrested straight away. And that was the end of poor Maddie Thunder. Oh. It's one of the great heist movies.
Also, could they get a stupider dude to do the retrieving? That's 91 grams of Charles that's just gone to dust for someone in Melbourne. How do they attach it to the ship? Do you know?
because
when you've got a couple of, it's not, you can't exactly use duct tape and just duct tape it to the side of a container ship.
Well, they said it was in duffel bags. So Yeah, I don't know how that's fixed to the side. You'd want to be pretty sure about it.
Yeah, because I was trying to think, do they put it into like where the ropes go or where the...
There's probably a bit more to it than just sellotaping it to the side, like I'm imagining. But can't be much more than that because the cops found it and then he couldn't get to it. But I just thought that was one of those wild twists and turn stories that needs a Netflix doco. I just rewatched Last Stop Larimer. I'm waiting for the mushroom lady. The lady who cooked the deadly mushrooms. That is going to be a hell of a Netflix doco when that comes out.
How good is Last Stop Larimer?
If you haven't watched it, go watch it.
It's so good. Hey, before you sign off though, Manaia, obviously you're basing yourself down in Christchurch for a little bit.
I am.
And I see that you have changed your job title because on your email I just got from you, it says Manaia Stewart, Regional Solutions Associate.
Yes.
Is there something you need to tell us that what's going on there? Have you taken up another job?
I'm not coming back. No, my email signatures are something, and job descriptions, job titles, it's something that's always pissed me off. And so, for whatever reason, I just hit I can't remember what Joe Jury has a bizarre email signature as well.
Yeah.
And I just went on a random signature generator and it came up with Regional Solutions Associate.
It's good.
But the thing is, I changed that months ago. But the thing is, now that I am in Christchurch, people are like, wait, what?
Hey, the Regional Solutions guy's here. Go see him.
That'll be why the sales rep's been up me to make a sale this week.
Yeah, it's true. They're like, I bet you they go back. They'll go back through management, the complete wrong side of the business to us, and go, the Regional Solutions guy came. He was fucking useless. He basically did Photoshop for an agenda podcast, talked shit in a studio, and then pissed off and played golf. There'll be a big investigation, don't you worry.
Didn't make a single sale. Well, I might change it to regional sales manager then. See if that puts the shits up there.
Yeah, executive.
Yeah, regional sales executive. That will ruffle some feathers. Yeah. All right, that'll do us for today. We will knock it on the head. Tomorrow, it'll be a little bit earlier. It may be a little bit shorter as well because the first ball of the first test against Australia is at 11. And Lane, you're going to be joined by Heath tomorrow to preview all of that action. So I'm looking forward to that. And we'll see you then.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.